following program contains disturbing materials that may not be suitable for some resellers. Viewer discretion is advised.
My name is John, and I'm a lowballer. Admittedly so, I am a lowballer. And I'm going to make a statement. It's controversial, but I'm going to just say it. Most good resellers, especially in this climate that we're in, economic climate, need to be lowballers. Now, what is a lowballer, you might ask? I think a lot of you guys know what a lowballer is, but if you have your offers turned off or you don't make offers to watchers, you may not have a clue what a lowballer is. You just have a set price. If it sells, it sells. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Well, a lowballer generally is someone who will give you what you feel. It's all about how you feel. What you feel is way too low of a price on the item you have listed. Let's say you have a $100 item listed. Someone offers you $1. That's a way extreme example, but it's happened before. And those people, it's hard to take them seriously, right? $1 for a $100 item. There's different levels of lowballers. So that same person might offer you 10. They might offer you 20. I mean, we still have not established the line as to what percentage of the asking price constitutes as a lowballer. It's all, I think, kind of how you feel as a seller once you receive this kind of an offer. And some people allow these lowball items to really wreck their day and to give them a sour taste as a reseller. But I'm here to tell you that, in fact, I came out with a video some time ago, sort of challenging the idea of what a lowballer is. But if we're going to say it for what it is, I'll just say it. Good resellers really need to consider being a lowballer. And I'll just say it like that, especially if you go to yard sales, places where you have the power to negotiate. Now, if you go to thrift stores, you're not going, unless you have a relationship with a manager, you're not going to be able to do any negotiating. Maybe you know somebody who owns a liquidation store, you have a good rapport with them, maybe you can get a better deal. But the goal here as a reseller is to buy low and to sell it as high as possible. Now, I think as a reseller, we have more control over the first part of that, which is to buy as low as possible rather than to sell high. I mean, I have $80 to $100 items all day that I get. I'd love to sell them for 200, but if the market doesn't support it, it doesn't matter what I want. I have to price that item according to the market, and depending on the demand, depending on the competition, depending on all these different factors, determines how high I'm able to price that item. And sometimes I got to come down just to get to the actual current market, regardless of what the last 90 days or the last 2 to 3 years of Terapeak might tell you. So my main control is to find a way to get that item as cheap as possible, to next to zero as possible. I can tell you, a very, very close reseller friend of mine, he gets a lot of his stuff for free. That is the ultimate lowball. I mean, someone's offering it for free. They put an ad in the next door app, I believe, or the neighbors app, or the offer up app, saying, I got this stuff, come get it. And if it looks like something that he can resell, he'll go get it. Okay. And now that could be, a lot of times he just sold an item for like $150, to be honest with you, and he got it for free. He didn't pay $1 for it. That is the ultimate sourcing right there. If you can achieve that, and he does it quite often, then you are in the sourcing nirvana as far as I'm concerned. But I don't have it like that. I guess I could, but he's kind of got it down to a science. That's not within my wheelhouse. So I try to buy through liquidation as low as I possibly can. I have a standard that I set pretty much for what I'm going to sell it for, determines what my max is on buying that item. When I'm at yard sales, I'll find a $5 item and I'll offer two. Okay. If I go and ask what they want for a shirt, she says 5. What's the worst that can happen if I ask her for 2? No, it's firm. They're not going to kick me off of their property unless I'm just rude about it. And I never suggest that you are rude to anyone. And in fact, it's always good to try to build rapport with whomever you're negotiating with. And before you even start looking at their items, or while you're looking at their items, strike up a conversation with them, and at least that lets them know you're a pretty decent human being rather than just somebody who just runs over to the yard sale and grabs an item. What do you want for this item? That's not the way you do it. You got to show them that you have a personality, and you're an actual decent human being. I really am a firm believer that you should build some kind of rapport with whomever you're negotiating with. And you know what? That $5 item, hey, what would you take for this? Well, it's $5. Would you take two? And sometimes they'll come back and say, sure, I'll do two. Or maybe they'll reluctantly say yes, right? Or maybe they'll say no, I got to get five for that. Okay. But now you have a feel of the situation. You can then say, if they won't budge off of five, say, hey, if I buy a bunch of items, will you make me a deal? Okay, that's fair, right? And chances are they will do that. Now, sometimes they won't. You'll get someone who, I ran into a guy the other day who was selling a old PlayStation 2 with some games. He said, $100 firm. I'm not going any lower. Well, then I'm not even going to talk to you about it. I'm going to move on to the next item, right? So you feel out what's going on with that person. Maybe sometimes you're looking at items while you're listening to them negotiate with someone else. And if you can tell that person is someone that worked with that person, then you can make an offer, right? But I think this is the biggest hurdle that people face. I think it's because they're afraid of rejection. They don't want to be putting anyone on the spot in an uncomfortable situation. But I got to tell you, if you're not making offers to people, you are leaving money on the table. So let's say you go out and buy 20 items for $5. You just don't even negotiate. You ask them what they want, $5, and you pay it, right? So you spend $100 on 20 items, maybe at various yard sales, maybe not the same one, but that's beside the point. Now let's take seller B, who initially is to pay $5, but they offer two. Let's say half of those transactions they get it for two. Well, that person just paid $70. You paid 100. Okay, and guess what? Their cost average, and the way I do it is, if I get 20 items and I pay 70, my cost average is somewhere around $3.50. If you pay 100, your cost average is $5. You're going to have a little more room to wiggle on coupons, markdown sales, offers from buyers, or offers you make to watchers if you are into that item for as low as possible. This is why I don't get all that upset when someone makes me what is deemed as a ridiculous offer or low offer. And it never used to be that way. I'd get kind of bothered at low ball offers because we want the best price. We're in this game to win it. We're in this game to make money. We're in this game to get as much as possible for the item that we're selling. But the reality is there's people out there that are trying to get a good deal just like you are when you're at a yard sale. And I don't blame them for that, right? I'm hopeful that they'll understand that I can't go that low, and I'll tell them in my notes to them when I make a counter offer. And I'll tell them this is my best price. I can't go any lower. They take it, they take it. If they don't, they don't. And I find that maybe 10% of the people take it, and the other 90 don't ever reply back. And that's fine too. But I think it's not a good idea to get bogged down on your feelings on how you feel about this buyer. We'll go as far as blocking somebody when they lowball us. It's not good business. Now, do your own thing. If you want to do that, more power to you. Do what you want to do. I'm not here to tell you what you should do. Well, I am. I'm not telling you what you have to do. I'm telling you what I think as a fellow reseller to another, what makes good business sense. And I think it makes good business sense to not let your feelings get in the way. I think it makes good business sense to get the item for as low as possible. And if that makes me a no good lowballer, well, guess what? I'm happy to be that no good lowballer because I'm making money. I'm making money, and I can take offers. I can make offers. I can use coupons. I can use markdown sales, and I can get the sale. And some people are so high into the item because they're afraid to negotiate that they don't have that same room. And that's the difference between a good reseller and maybe someone that's mediocre that could be better, but for whatever reason, they're choosing not to utilize that one thing, and that is to negotiate whenever you can, whether it's on one item or whether it's making an offer on a bundle. You get all those $5 items together. Hey, I've got 20 of these. Would you take 70? I promise you, most people will take that. Most reasonable people at a yard sale will take 70 rather than lose the sale altogether. And and most people will take even lower than that. But you got to start somewhere. And I get too many people saying, hey, I just can't do it. I'm not that kind of person that can talk people down on their price. Well, then you're at a disadvantage. And it's something I would say it's a leak in your game, it's a leak in your business, and you should work on it. Maybe get a book on negotiation. And I'm the last person to tell people to read a book, but that's an option. And learn how to negotiate, the art of negotiation. And when you get out to your yard sale, it'll be like second nature. So that's my little video for today. Again, I'm guilty as charged. I'm a low baller, and I'm happy to do it because my business benefits because of it. Figuring out how to get these items for as low as you possibly can is yet another example of how flipping ain't easy. And I want you guys to have an excellent rest of your day. We will talk to you very soon. Take care.